Now that we are done with phonetics and phonology and everything that has to do with the sound system of the English language, we move on to discuss word formation and morphology. Morphology اللي هي باللغة العربية علم الصرف أو علم تكوين الكلمات أو بناء الكلمات. word formation يعني العمليات اللي بتكون كلمات في أي لغة مش بس في اللغة الإنجليزية. بس our focus here is going to be of course on the English language. Morphology is the analysis of the structure of words. In Arabic, the one word سأحبك translates into 4 English words. I will love you. س is indication for will مستقبل. أحب I love. ك الضمير the pronoun كاف is reference to you. Conclusion: there are word elements that can be added to the word to make up a whole new meaning. Those word elements are known as morphemes. يعني مثلا I will love you دي في حد ذاتها كل واحدة فيهم واقفة لوحدها مفيش فيها أي حاجة اتضافت عليها. خلينا consider a verb like سأحبك في اللغة العربية. It has سه sound. هي جاية من جذر حبة اوكي أو حببة ح ب اوكي. Then you turn it into or you add سه السين في الأول to indicate the future and then the pronoun كاف to indicate the pronoun you مخاطب ضمير مخاطب اوكي. أحب الألف في أحب ضمير متحدث أنا I okay. All of these are called morphemes that you added to the word in order to make up a whole new meaning okay. What are morphemes? We can recognize that English word forms such as talks, talker, talked, and talking must consist of one element, which is talk, and a number of other elements such as s, er, ed, or ing. All these elements are described as morphemes. يعني من الآخر كل 4 كلمات talks, talker, talked and talking كلهم أصلهم talk. الزوايد اللي أنا زودتها على كلمة talk عشان خاطر أخلق ال4 دول اسمهم morphemes. The definition of a morpheme is a minimal unit of meaning or grammatical function. A morpheme is a minimal unit of meaning or grammatical function. يعني يا إما هحطه على الكلمة عشان أخلق معنى جديد أو هحطه على الكلمة علشان أحولها من grammatical category into a different grammatical category. Units of grammatical function include forms used to indicate past tense. يعني إيه grammatical function؟ يعني يا إما هخلي الفعل من present ل past tense يا إما هخلي الnoun من singular ل plural and so on and so forth. In the sentence, the police reopened the investigation. The word reopened consists of 3 morphemes. One minimal unit of meaning, which is open. هي أصلها أصلا open. لوحدها واقفة ليها معنى اسمها open. يفتح. Other minimal unit of meaning is بمعنى again. To do it again. And a minimal unit of grammatical function. حاجة خلت الفعل reopen بدل ما هي تبقى يعيد فتح بقت أعاد فتح يعني هي حولتها من مضارع لماضي. And it indicates the past tense. The word tourists also contains 3 morphemes. There is one minimal unit of meaning which is tour يعني في minimal unit ليها معنى which is tour رحلة. Another minimal unit of meaning which is ist يعني ist أنا زودتها علشان خاطر أخلق معنى جديد من كلمة tour. tourist سائح. marking the person who does something. And then you have the minimal unit of grammatical function, which is the S, indicating plural, مجموعة سواح instead of just one tourist. Tourist is just a word that has two morphemes, tour and ist, tourist. If you add the plural S, then this is a third grammatical morpheme to indicate the plural of the word. يا رب تبقى الدنيا واضحة. طيب, from these examples, reopened and tourists, we can make a broad distinction between two types of morphemes. في نوعين من المورفيمز. There are free morphemes. What are those? They are morphemes that can stand by themselves as single words. كلمات هتبقى لوحدها مفهومة وليها معنى. They can stand on their own as single words. Single words with meaning, real meaning. For example, open and tour. There are also bound morphemes, which are those forms that cannot normally stand alone and are typically attached to another form, as in RE, IST, ED, and S. Bound morphemes يعني morphemes لازم تدخل على كلمة عشان يبقى ليها معنى. Real وحدها RE ملهاش معنى. Reopen معناها يعيد فتح، بقى ليها معنى الإعادة. IST to indicate a person who does something. Who is that person? What does he do? معرفش. A tourist. Now it has meaning. ED is a bound morpheme that has to be added to the word to indicate the past tense. S is a functional برضو grammatical morpheme that has to be added to another word to indicate the plural state of the word. Again, it's a bound morpheme. So, free morphemes حاجات تقدر تقف لوحدها on their own, words that can stand alone as single words. Morphemes that can stand by themselves as single words, they are free morphemes. Bound morphemes لازم تدخل على كلمة أخرى علشان خاطر يبقى ليها معنى. Okay? So, we can say that all affixes بناء على الكلام ده, all affixes سواء prefixes and suffixes in the English language, they are all bound morphemes. أي حاجة هتزودها على الكلمة قبلها أو بعدها سواء prefix or suffix, then they are all, without exception, bound morphemes. The free morphemes can generally be identified as the set of separate English word forms such as basic nouns, adjectives, verbs, etc. So, بيقول إن الفري morphemes عادة بتبقى يا إما nouns, adjectives, verbs, and so on. When they are used with bound morphemes attached, the basic word forms are technically known as stems. يعني open في حد ذاتها is a morpheme. If I put it in something that's called, or if I turn it into reopen, I add the prefix re, then I indicate another meaning, in which case open here is no longer just a morpheme, it's a stem. It's a free morpheme, but it's a stem. طالما اتحط عليه prefix يبقى هو كده بقى اسمه stem. خلينا نوضح في الدايجرام اللي جاي هيوضح الدنيا أكتر. Consider the two words undressed and carelessness. Un here is a prefix and it's a bound morpheme. Dress here is a stem, which is a free morpheme. Ed here is a suffix and it's a bound morpheme. bound morpheme يعني ملوش معنى لوحده. bound morpheme يعني لازم يدخل على كلمة عشان يبقى ليه معنى. free morpheme يعني it can stand on its own. ليها معنى. I keep repeating myself so that you would understand. Carelessness. Care here is a stem, meaning that it's a free morpheme. محدش يسأل يعني ايه stem بالعربي, هي ملهاش ترجمة قوي بالعربي, مش عارفاها, أنا معرفهاش. Okay? So, stem here is a free morpheme. At least in this context, I don't know what the word stem as a technical linguistic term means. You just have to know that a stem is a free morpheme that can stand on its own. It's a word. Care هي لوحدها ليها معنى بمعنى عناية أو اهتمام أو رعاية or whatever. Less. Less here is a suffix. Careless. This is an adjective, okay? لو هو لوحده من غير ness اللي في الآخر دي, then it's an adjective. Careless. Less here is a suffix, which makes it by default a bound morpheme. يعني هو لازم يتحط على كلمة تانية علشان خاطر يبقى ليه معنى. Careless. And then you have another suffix, which is ness, N-E-S-S. Another suffix, which is another bound morpheme. So, free morphemes, bound morphemes. Free morphemes are stems. Bound morphemes, they have to be attached to the words in order to have sense or to make sense. And they are all prefixes and suffixes, or بمعنى أصح, all prefixes and suffixes are bound morphemes. Important note. We should note that this type of description is a partial simplification of the morphological facts of English. يعني دي morphological facts of English ببساطة شديدة جدا. الموضوع أكبر من كده شوية. There are a number of English words in which the element treated as the stem is not in fact a free morpheme. يعني في بعض الكلمات في اللغة الإنجليزية الستم بتاعها مش free morpheme قوي. In words such as receive, reduce, repeat, هل أنا ينفع أشيل الحاجات اللي هي قد تبدو كده الوهلة إنها prefixes وتبقى الكلمة دي ليها معنى؟ لا. جربوا كده تشيلوا كلمة أو الجزء بتاع re من verb زي reduce. Reduce دي كلمة أساسا إنجليزية؟ لا. It's not an English word. Repeat. Repeat. في حد ذاتها. Does it have sense? Does it make sense? No, it doesn't. So, we can identify the bound morpheme re at the beginning, but the elements sieve, deuce, and pete are not separate word forms, and hence cannot be free morphemes. These types of forms are sometimes described as bound morphemes to keep them distinct from free stems, such as dress and care. يعني من الآخر كلمات زي مثلا repeat or receive. لو أنا شلت ال RE اللي في الأول واكتفيت مثلا ببيت or sieve، أوكي؟ هل دول كلمات في اللغة الإنجليزية حقيقية فعلا؟ لا. طب إحنا هنعمل فيهم إيه؟ نتعامل معاهم إزاي؟ هنقول عليهم مجازا نعديها إن هم they are also bound morphemes. They have to be attached to these prefixes in order to make sense. That's all. Lexical and functional morphemes. This slide is mainly dedicated to the differentiation between lexical and functional morphemes, which are both free morphemes. إحنا قلنا إن free morphemes يعني إيه؟ يعني they can stand on their own as single words. مش محتاجين أي إضافات عشان خاطر يحققوا معنى حقيقي. أوكي؟ طيب. Free morphemes are divided into lexical and functional. إيه الفرق بين الاتنين؟ Lexical morphemes is that set of ordinary nouns, adjectives, and verbs that we think of as the words that carry the content of the messages we convey. يعني إيه؟ يعني أنا دلوقتي لما أقول table من ضدة. It's the four-legged object with the flat surface that you are using to put things on. طلعت منها بمعلومة مفيدة، معلومة substantial. If I say John is sad, John is sad, I am providing two pieces of information: that there is a man whose name is John, this is a noun, a proper noun, and I am providing a description of his state of emotions, he is sad. طيب فين الfunctional morpheme هنا؟ is. The verb to be is. He is sad. It's a functional word. It can't stand كده لوحدها من غير ما تبقى في جملة مفيدة، لأن هي لا تعطي معنى حقيقي، لا تعطي معلومة مفيدة. It does not provide substantial information. طيب lexical morphemes are all nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and verbs that provide information. They carry the content of the messages we convey. These free morphemes are called lexical morphemes, and some examples are أي كلمة content بقى اللي هي nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. Girl, man, house, tiger, sad, long, yellow, sincere, open, look, follow, break. These are all words which provide real pieces of information. We can add new lexical morphemes to the language rather easily, so they are treated as an open class of words. يعني احنا دايما اللغة دايما متطورة. It's an ever evolving entity on its own, and accordingly we call lexical morphemes an open class of words. هي مفتوحة. They are free morphemes that make up an open class of words. يعني احنا ممكن نزود في كلمات اللغة من خلال أي عملية من عمليات الword formation اللي احنا ناقشناهم قبل كده في الأول، سواء conversion, back formation، أو مثلا borrowing، أو coinage، أو acronym، أي واحدة من دول. أوكي؟ طيب إيه هم بقى functional morphemes as opposed to lexical morphemes? Functional morphemes are still free morphemes. يعني they can stand on their own, single words. مش محتاجين أي إضافات. Okay? However, they don't really provide substantial information except for grammatical information. They provide grammatical information. الكلمات اللي ليها علاقة بجرامر اللغة الإنجليزية إحنا ما بنقدرش نزودها. يعني ما نقدرش مثلا نقول إنه the articles of the English language are a and the ونصحى تاني يوم الصبح نقرر نزودهم. No, it's just the a and the. Two articles of the English language. They are both, each of them is a functional morpheme on its own. So, because functional morphemes are constant and I can't add any more words to them, they are classified as a closed group or a closed class of words. Examples of functional morphemes are and, but, when, because, on, near, above, in, the, that, it, them. This set of functional morphemes consists largely of the functional words in the language such as conjunctions, أدوات الربط, prepositions, حروف الجر, articles, الأدوات بشكل عام, and pronouns, ضمائر. Because we almost never add new functional morphemes to the language, they are described as a closed set of or a closed class of words. يعني أنا ما أقدرش أقول أنا هخترع جرامر جديد للغة الإنجليزية وأقعد أزود بقى في البروناونز. يعني we have of the pronouns we have he, she, it, and we, them, and we have their variations طبعا. Them, our, his, hers, possessive pronouns. حاجات ثابتة، كلها حاجات ثابتة ونقدر نعدها مع بعض، بس ما نقدرش نزود عليهم حاجة. This is why they are classified as a closed class of morphemes. They are still free morphemes. Free morphemes بمعنى ان هم they are single words that can stand on their own. يعني in مفيش فيها أي إضافات. Above مفيش فيها أي إضافات as a preposition. The is an article ملهاش أي إضافات، لا ليها prefix ولا ليها suffix. مش محتاجة. And it's not a prefix or a suffix لوحدها أصلا. Okay? They are single words that can stand on their own. But because they provide grammatical information rather than substantial information, they are classified as functional morphemes. وعشان خاطر ما أقدرش أزود عليهم أي grammatical words جديدة، أنا بقول عليهم a closed class of words or a closed class of free functional morphemes. Okay? يا رب تبقى وضحت. Okay, let's pick it up from bound morphemes and divide bound morphemes into two more types: derivational morphemes and inflectional morphemes. The set of affixes that make up the category of bound morphemes can also be divided into two types. The first type of this slide is derivational morphemes. إيه هم derivational morphemes؟ One type is described in word formation. فاكرين الword formation البروسيسز بتاعت الword formation اللي احنا اتكلمنا عليها في نفس البرزنتيشن ده. Derivation, the process of derivation. Okay, you derive new words from other words, newer words from other words through the process of derivation using derivational morphemes. We use these bound morphemes to make new words or to make words of a different grammatical category from the stem. يعني احنا بنستخدم bound morphemes سواء ال affixes سواء ال prefixes or ال suffixes. Okay, we use English affixes بشكل عام in order to make new words or to create words of a different grammatical category. يعني ان انا اخلق noun from a verb, to create a noun from a verb, or to create an adjective from a noun, or to create an adverb from a verb, and so on. هتوضح أكتر في examples. The addition of the derivational morpheme NESS changes the adjective good to the noun goodness. The noun care can become the adjectives careful or careless. أنا حطيت ال suffixes اللي في الآخر FUL or LESS in order to create careful in the first and careless in the second. A list of derivational morphemes will include suffixes such as ISH in foolish, LY in quickly, and the MENT in payment. The list will also include prefixes such as RE as in reopen, prepaid, ex-marine, okay, or ex-wife, miss as in misunderstand, co as in cooperate, un as in what else? What a word that starts with un? Unfinished. The word unfinished, okay? It's not finished yet. Okay? All of these prefixes and suffixes, you can use them in order to create or to derive new words from other words. And I mean content words. يعني adjectives from nouns, nouns from adjectives, adverbs from verbs as in or adjectives. Quick is an adjective. It turned into an adverb through the addition of ly, quickly. Okay? So these are called derivational morphemes. They change the grammatical category of the word in order to make up newer words, sometimes with even newer meaning. But this is not our issue now, okay? Those are derivational morphemes. The second set of bound morphemes, عشان نبقى واضحين, inflectional morphemes and derivational morphemes are both bound morphemes. أنا ما بقدرش أزود عليهم أي حاجة خالص في اللغة الإنجليزية وكلهم بيخضعوا تحت كاتيجوري الجرامر. They are all grammatical أو functional morphemes. Okay, they are all bound morphemes. تمام? The second set of bound morphemes contains what is called inflectional morphemes. إيه الفرق بينهم وبين ال derivational morphemes? These are not used to produce new words in the language. أنا مش هخلق كلمة جديدة لما أحطهم على الكلمة. وما هعمل بيهم إيه؟ But rather to indicate aspects of the grammatical function of a word. يعني إيه؟ Inflectional morphemes are used to show if a word is plural or singular. يعني من الآخر أنا بحط S على كلمة cat in order to indicate that I am talking about more than one single cat. They are pluralized. The plural is cats. El plural S هنا is an inflectional morpheme to indicate the grammatical function of the word, to indicate that it's a plural. It's not a single noun. It's not a singular noun. So, they are also used to indicate if the verb is in the past tense or not. As in play, played. أنا حطيت ED على الverb play in order to indicate that it's in the past tense. أنا ما غيرتش معنى الكلمة ولا خلقت كلمة جديدة ولا هو اتحول من verb ل noun. It's still a verb. Play and played. They are both verbs. بس واحد فيهم مضارع والتاني ماضي. Simple. Okay? What else? I am using inflectional morphemes in order to indicate if a word is in the comparative form or not, or even superlative form or not. Like, he is older than his brother. Older, ER in older, here it's an inflectional morpheme. ER is actually very interesting because if I say teach and I put ER, it has become a teacher. This here is actually a derivational morpheme. لكن لما أقول ER to indicate a comparative state, يعني بقارن بين واحد والتاني, it's still an adjective, but it's in a comparative form. Older than his brother, taller than his brother. ال ER هنا is actually an inflectional morpheme. حلوة دي. ER, once it's derivational, the other time it's an inflectional morpheme. طيب, possessive form. لما احط apostrophe S. Don't touch Lena's book. The apostrophe S in the after the name Lena is to indicate that this is her book. I am still talking about Lena. Lena is still a noun. It hasn't changed category at all. I am just indicating a grammatical function, possessive, that this book is hers. Okay? English has only 8 inflectional morphemes. الحمد لله. الدنيا اتلمت لوحدها. هم 8 بس inflectional morphemes اللي موجودين في اللغة الإنجليزية كلها على بعضها. They are illustrated in the following sentences. Jim's 2 sisters are really different. أنا حتى ملوناهم باللون الأحمر. Jim's 2 sisters are really different. One likes to have fun and is always laughing. The other liked to read as a child and has always taken things seriously. One is the loudest person in the house and the other is quieter than a mouse. Okay? Both inflections. خلينا نشرح الانفلكشنال morphemes دول. التمانية اللي موجودين في الجمل دي في الأربع جمل دول بالأحمر. They are the only inflectional morphemes in the English language. Okay? Both inflections, apostrophe S and S, are attached to nouns. واحدة فيهم possessive S والتانية plural. Note that apostrophe S, the possessive S here, is a possessive inflection and it's different from the apostrophe S used as an abbreviation for is or has. يعني نفرق يا جماعة بين البوزيسيف S وبين الapostrophe S اللي بتبقى معمولة كabbreviation ل is or has. زي she's laughing or it's happened again. دي هنا فرق اختصار ل is ودي اختصار ل has. طيب الapostrophe S اللي هي اختصار ل is والapostrophe S اللي هي اختصار ل has هيبقوا ايه؟ هيبقوا simply bound free morphemes. Okay? طيب, there are 4 inflections attached to verbs. S, third person singular, اللي هي في الverb بتاع likes. And ing to indicate present participle in the verb laughing. And you have ed to indicate the past tense in liked. And you have en to indicate the past participle in the verb taken. There are 2 inflections attached to adjectives. ER to indicate a comparative state or EST to indicate a superlative state. يعني واحدة علشان خاطر توضح مقارنة والتانية عشان خاطر توضح أفضلية في صفة معينة. In English, all the inflectional morphemes are suffixes. من الآخر كده كل الانفلكشنال morphemes في اللغة الإنجليزية بيجوا في آخر الكلمة. مفيش حد فيهم بيجي في الأول. Okay? This is all you have to know about derivational and inflectional morphemes. وعشان الدنيا توضح أكتر وتتلم أكتر, you are going to have a diagram. طيب, this is the last slide of the presentation. And Given all this information about morphology, you should be able to provide a morphological description of any given English sentence. Any English sentence, okay? After we give this description of the English sentence here, there is this diagram that is going to help you summarize what English morphemes are, or the types of English morphemes. Anyway, armed with all these terms for different types of morphemes, we can now take most sentences of English apart and list all the elements. For example, the sentence, "The child's wildness shocked the teachers," we can identify 11 morphemes. Okay? The child's wildness shocked the teachers. There are 11 morphemes there. Let's describe them one by one. The is a free functional morpheme. Child is a free lexical morpheme. Apostrophe S, it's a bound inflectional morpheme. Child's apostrophe S, the possessive S, it's a bound inflectional morpheme indicating a grammatical status, indicating possessiveness. It's still a noun, it hasn't changed, okay? Wild is an adjective. Accordingly, it provides substantial information. So, it's a free lexical morpheme. NESS. This is a derivational morpheme. Wildness. Okay? It derived a noun from an adjective. It turned an adjective into a noun. It derived a noun from an adjective. So, it's a bound derivational morpheme. Shock is a verb. Shock is a verb. Accordingly, it's a free lexical morpheme. It provides substantial information. انت عرفت ان في صدمة في الموضوع. Okay? ED. The ED added to the verb shock still make it a verb. It hasn't changed. It's still a verb. So, it's a bound inflectional morpheme. The, تاني, الارticle the is a free functional morpheme. Okay? Teach is a verb. Accordingly, it's a free lexical morpheme. But it's not a teach here في الجملة. It's not the verb teach. It's teacher. So, you derived a noun from a verb, the ER of teacher. The ER of teacher is a bound derivational morpheme. خلينا نرجع للسلايد اللي فاتت ونقارن بينها وبين ال ER in quieter. The ER in quieter would be a bound in inflectional morpheme. Okay? Not a derivational morpheme. S, to indicate plural of teachers. So it's an inflectional morpheme. It's an inflectional morpheme. A useful way to remember all these different types of morphemes is in the following chart. من الشمال, you have morphemes. Morphemes are divided into two types, free morphemes and bound morphemes. Free morphemes are divided into two types, lexical and functional. Okay? Lexical morphemes are open class of words or an open set of morphemes. They include nouns, adjectives, verbs, and adverbs, such as child and teach. And you have functional morphemes, free functional morphemes, which are described as a closed set of morphemes لأن دي كلمات نحوية أو grammatical إحنا ما نقدرش نزود عليها. Like and the. The other type of morphemes are bound morphemes. Bound morphemes are divided into two types, derivational and inflectional. Derivational as in reopen مثلا, okay? Or NESS, wildness as in wildness. You use derivational morphemes to derive newer words from already existing English words. Wild, wildness. Open, reopen. Okay? They can be suffixes or prefixes. Derivational morphemes can be either suffixes or prefixes. يا إما يجوا في الآخر أو يجوا في الأول. The other type of bound morphemes is known as inflectional morphemes, and they all come at the end of the word. They are all suffixes, and there are only 8 of them in the English language, such as the possessive s and the ed to indicate the tense of the verb, the past tense of the verb, and the other 6 that are there in the previous slide. This is it for the morphology chapter. We move on to semantics, which is going to be the last topic we cover for this course. Thank you very much and see you next time.